Hey, it's Mike O'Shea. I'm here. Aha.
Hello again, everyone. And we're now joined by the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Mike O'Shea. Again, to ask a question, please use the raise hand function to be added to the queue, and please mute your microphone until I indicate it is your turn to ask your question. So, who wants to go first? Josh Pray Sam, please go ahead.
Hey, morning, coach. I guess it's
Morning.
afternoon where we are. Just with the news with Willie, how important was it to get him back in the building for another year?
Ultimately, I mean, he's a top priority. Every year that he's chosen to sign back with us, he's been a top priority. I mean, he's so dynamic. You saw him in the Grey Cup. He's an absolute game changer. Uh, we could spend a long time talking about him. I love his leadership. I love what he brings uh, to the locker room every day, and I like what he does on the field. It's always spectacular. So he's he's so good for us.
hmm You guys have other names as well still on the board. Dalton, Kenny, Evan Holm. Obviously, the likes of those guys. How critical is it just going to be for you guys to maybe retain some of those difference makers as well as you guys try to get to where you ultimately want to get to this year?
Yeah, there's always some turnover. We've done really well for a long time at keeping a core group, and I think this year will be the exact same. Not in terms of everybody that chooses to sign back, but in terms of keeping a good solid core of guys that really understand what they want to get done in the locker room and how they want to play the game, and um, you know, understand what the coaching staff thinks and believes in. That's not going to change. We have such a large group of guys that can lead and support each other in their leadership. That there's always a couple guys that change, but the group and the group mentality stays really well intact.
Thanks, coach.
Thank you, Josh. Next questions from John Hodge. Please go ahead, John.
Thanks for doing this, Mike. I'm wondering if you can give us an update on your offensive coordinator position.
Yep, working on it. But
sorry, continue.
No, working on it. Had some good conversations with guys, and just making sure I work through that process uh, to discover what I need to discover and do it right.
Has the formal interview process started, or are these kind of more informal conversations?
My understanding of formal and your understanding of formal might be two different things. So I would say the formal part has started, but I think everybody looks at it through their own lens. I like where we're at. Put it that way.
Yeah. Do you have an approximate timeline for when a hiring might be made?
Nope. Not in any rush.
Last one from me. Obviously, you're, as Josh kind of alluded to, you're working through the free agent list. I'm curious about an update on Adam Bighill. Obviously, he's working back from the torn ACL. He had a guy who's older, but we all know that you value veteran leadership a lot. So do you see him back with the team, and what is his health status, if you can update it?
Yeah, he's working his tail off to get back, and I mean, we'll keep monitoring that. I mean, he's got the ability to get so much done in a day. I've said it 100 times. He's a worker. Besides being super talented and a good leader, all those things are well known. And we'll see where that ends up with us. It's still conversations probably to be had.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you, John. Next questions from Jeff Hamilton. Please go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Mike, on that coaching staff timeline, I know this is a bit different for you. What does your process look like when you're hiring, a role that's so integral to the staff, like an offensive coordinator?
I mean, the start of it, honestly, as Buck was going through his process and getting his opportunity, we'd done that so many times before, like Buck had interviewed and there was potential that we sort of gone through not the motions, but had gone through some of the steps before. So you pick up a little bit where you left off, and then you look again at who's available, and you do those things. And early on in the process, as Buck's going through his, I'm still trying to just honestly trying to recuperate a little bit from the season, right? And try and get my bearings again. Is okay. Where do we need to go? What do we need to do? How do we need to do it? Who do we need to do it with? Those kind of things. But like I said, I like where we're at.
People might look at the time, right? Look at free agency in a month. Look at, we're past Christmas, we're past the holiday season. And, I'm sure, obviously you're working on rounding out that staff. I know you don't have necessarily a timeline, but what makes sense for you as you get towards free agency, as you get, as you continue to sign players on both sides of the ball, like at what point would you like to have your offensive mind in those rooms helping you make those decisions?
Well, I know it would seem to really matter, and I'm not discounting that. But I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with the question. And to me, the answer is this: no matter who you sign as that coaching staff, there will be players that will be drawn to that or pushed away from that. So the timeline is interesting, to rush and get somebody in place before free agency, which I think it'll be done before free agency. I really do. But I don't think that's going to change necessarily a big bulk of the players, their decision, right? I think there will always be some guys that say, oh, I've worked with that guy before. I like him. Oh, I haven't worked with that guy before. I don't know. Some guys might say, I've never worked with that guy. I really like that, depending on where they're coming from. So I do understand the question as it relates to the timing of free agency. But I don't know. It's I don't know that you rush this process. I think you work on it and you put your time in and you come up with good answers and the right answers.
It's interesting. I wasn't even thinking that line. I meant more of like the players maybe liking or whatever, wanting to be drawn to that person. That is a great point. I meant more on the idea of, maybe that trust, like someone who wants to come and apply for that job, right? Might want to be part of those conversations, might want to be part of those decisions. I meant more on that line of thinking that you have an idea of what your offense could look like, right? I mean, the attitude, the personality of your offense, usually the sooner you get in, the better.
I mean, I think we have a pretty good idea of what we want our offense to look like. And you're always looking for somebody to come in and complement that and bring in their own ideas. And they're going to have people they want to bring in with them. I get all that. But there's certainly, in terms of free agents, there's guys you target that that can play no matter what the system is.
Are you expecting Richie to be back this year with you guys as a defensive coach? I know he had some interest, obviously, in Ottawa. I just don't know.
I am expecting him back.
You mentioned kind of, I don't know what the exact word you said, when I asked you about kind of the decision making, you're kind of maybe just I don't want to say you're coming to grips with last season, or maybe just letting last season come to you as it naturally will as this off season. Where are you in your feelings, Mike, of what happened at the end of obviously that Grey Cup game, and where are you at, at this point in kind of getting past that season?
Yeah, I don't think you're ever past it. I think it sticks with you forever. I got on it pretty quickly at the end of the season because I thought it was going to be a little rougher, than normal. You spend a lot, especially the way the season went for us. We spent a lot, toiling at the beginning of the year and coming out of that, rising to that point to get to the game, and then maybe not doing our best, obviously, in that game. So I tried to attack this pretty quickly because I didn't think it was going to be easy. None of them are, but I thought this one was going to sting a little bit more. And they stay with you forever. There's no getting over it.
Yeah. Last one from me. We do have proof that you haven't been stuck in front of a TV just with that game on repeat. We saw you out with the Toronto Maple Leafs as part of this mentorship program. Like, you did your best to hide yourself in that photo, but someone zoomed in and got you there. Can you give us the background story on why you ended up on the mentorship program of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
No, I won't, as a matter of fact, because
Okay.
I value my off season, the small bits of time in the off season that head coaches in this league get to have their own time. I think we value it, and we value um, some time away from the spotlight or the media. And obviously that didn't work this time, but that's the truth. I think as head coaches, we're in front of the media on a daily basis during the season, and in the off season, we work our butts off through all these different stages of the off season that we have to, and that's part of the job. We get it, and when we get 2 or 3 days to you know sort of stay out of it, we prefer to stay out of it. So that's my
Do you think
answer.
going on a Toronto Maple Leafs mentors trip is staying out of the media? I would say that's a difficult one. Can you at least say like what you got out of it? Maybe not how you got into it, but maybe the experience in general. Those are pretty cool trips, right? You get to kind of be
Excellent.
around a lot of cool minds and get
Yeah.
to peek behind the curtains that not a lot of people get to see.
Yeah. Excellent trip. Well worth it. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Enjoyed my time. Very grateful that I was afforded that opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Jeff. Next question is from JC Abbott. Please go ahead, JC.
Hey, Mike, I'll just keep it brief. What is your understanding of the situation with Terrell Ford and his potential NFL opportunities? Do you know if there's anything coming down the pipe or when he'll have a certainty on whether he'll be in the CFL next season?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I think his performance earns him another opportunity down there, but I'm not a NFL scout or an NFL personnel employee. So I don't know their decision-making process or their timeline, but I think Terrell Ford's a fantastic player. Made a ton of plays for us. Was exciting to watch every game. Came in every day ready to learn and put it out on the field. And he knows we'd love to have him back.
And you did lose one player to the NFL in Ontario, Wilson.
Yeah.
What are the Jets going to get in him?
What are they
going to get from him down there?
Yeah, he's very tough, athletic. He studies. It matters to him. Yeah, he cares a lot. I watch him in the meetings. He's asking good questions. He's taking good notes. He wants to do it right. Pair that with his athleticism and toughness. He's a tough kid. He made some big plays for us. I thought he maximized his yardage when he had the ball in his hands. Yeah, he's an exciting athlete. He had 1,000 yards as a rookie, which we had in Dalton shown too, and it's pretty spectacular to watch. And you just hope those guys get the best opportunity they can. I want Pokey to go down there and do well and perform and keep getting more opportunities.
You make the comparison there in 1,000-yard rookies between Schoen and Wilson. Why do you think Wilson got this shot and Schoen didn't?
I think Dalton got a shot coming out and maybe another one. I'm not exact. Yeah, and maybe another one. And then there's always a new batch. Like Pokey's the next batch of guys that perform, that draw attention and get an opportunity. And I'm not saying Dalton's too old or anything like that, but they've seen Dalton a couple times and now they're looking at another guy they've maybe only seen once.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, JC. Next question is from Frank Stanichi. Please go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Mike. Hope you're enjoying the off season. Obviously, you're working hard. I know this is a bit of off the wall question. Probably you're the wrong coach to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What impact will the Grey Cup coming to Winnipeg have? Because two things happen. In some ways, there's extra pressure on the team, and then there's the stretching of the cap because they want to be successful. Does that have any impact? You looking forward and how you put this team together?
No, I think when you ask about the impact, I think about a great opportunity for Winnipeg and Winnipeggers to show off, show the kind of people they are, the kindness they exhibit on a daily basis to my family, us, our team, the players. It's a chance for Wade and his staff to put on an amazing show, and they will. And it's a chance for the city of Winnipeg to show off everything that it has to offer. Because people pass through Winnipeg sometimes, and they don't get the full effect of how great a city it is. They stay for a few days and they say, hey, they want to come back. This is pretty interesting. And then couple that with, the greatest yearly sporting event in Canada. I think it's fantastic. More pressure. I don't think you can put more pressure on the players. They're wired the right way. The reason they're pros is because they've been able to handle it. They put more pressure on themselves than anybody else could. So I don't see it as that for sure. But I like what it can do, you know, for the local economy and for showcasing our great city and province.
Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. Next and last question is Derek Taylor. Please go ahead, Derek.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this.
DT, good seeing you. Do I see you? Where are you? There you are.
I'm over.
How you doing?
I waved my hand, but then I don't know if that helped you very much. Things are good. I'm curious, with a new offensive coordinator coming in, what's your level of confidence with Zach Collaros for 2025?
Well, the easy answer is always confident in Zach, but I don't understand the question, DT. From what angle? What do you mean? I mean, Zach's a winner. He's gonna work well with guys that come in. Whoever comes in is gonna work well with Zach. They're gonna plan through all hours of the night and come up with schemes and ways to beat opponents. Then they're gonna work together to compete at the highest level and win football games. I mean, that's who Zach is. I think anybody that gets hired in that spot is going to really enjoy being around Zach and being around that room.
Perfect. I was softballing you for Zach Collaros is awesome. As the governor of Collaros Island, as I am.
He's fantastic. Love
him. I was also curious as I've been going over old games. Any update on Noah Hallett? I watched his injury in the West Final and ow.
Yeah. He's on the list. He's got to do some rehab and work to get healthy again. And he's always put in the work. We'll see where that ends up.
Can I ask, for you as a coach of him, is there an emotional reaction to see a guy that knee again after a couple of ACLs and stuff? Just watching a guy who wants to play so badly and then bad things just keep happening to him. Do you have an emotional reaction to it?
It's not bad things keep happening to him. Football happens, and you are, you're grateful for opportunities to play, and with that, you understand that some things can happen. But he's not, it's nothing to do with luck or things being bad. He's got a great perspective on life. He's beloved by his teammates. He's a terrific football player, smart, athletic, all those things. He's been a great teammate. But I don't think guys at this level, and Noah especially, they wouldn't look at it as just bad things. It's just things. It's things.
And one final one, if I might, up close, how glorious is Joe Thornton's beard?
I tried not to stare.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you.